welcome to Demolition Worker. Today, we witness the ultimate destruction of a legendary indestructible submarine using extreme industrial plasma cutting power. This massive vessel was engineered to survive the crushing depths of the darkest oceans, but its final journey ends right here today. We are about to slice through the super hard steel hull, exposing the hidden secrets of this incredibly complex underwater military machine. The sheer scale of this submarine is absolutely breathtaking, standing like a giant metal whale stranded inside the massive industrial scrapping yard. Workers begin positioning the heavy equipment around the dry dock, preparing for a monumental task that requires ultimate precision and raw strength. You can see the heavy-duty oxy-fuel plasma cutters being calibrated, ready to unleash temperatures that can melt through solid armor. Initial spark ignites with a blinding flash, marking the beginning of the end for this magnificent beast of the deep sea. A massive jet of superheated plasma makes contact with the outer shell, instantly turning the cold black steel into glowing liquid metal. Sparks rain down like a spectacular metallic meteor shower as the extreme heat slices effortlessly through the incredibly thick outer pressure hull. The glowing red-cut line slowly travels along the curved surface, leaving a trail of smoke and molten slag in its wake. This vessel features a unique double-hull structure designed specifically to protect the crew from explosive impacts and intense deep ocean pressure. Plasma cutter now breaches that first protective layer, revealing the dark, complex void space hidden between the outer and inner shells. Thick plumes of acrid smoke billow into the sky as the relentless thermal blade continues its slow, destructive march across the metal. Every inch of this hardened steel requires immense energy to sever, showcasing the incredible durability of modern military submarine engineering and construction. The deafening roar of the plasma torch echoes across the yard, a mechanical symphony of destruction tearing apart this once invincible titan. Molten steel drips down the massive black hull like glowing orange tears, solidifying into jagged metal stalactites on the concrete floor below. Skilled operators carefully guide the automated cutting tracks, ensuring the massive steel plates are divided into manageable sections for the recycling process. Suddenly, a massive chunk of the outer hull breaks free, crashing down onto the scrap pile with a heavy, earth-shaking thud. The exposed inner structure reveals a chaotic web of severed cables, broken pipes, and reinforced titanium ribs that once supported the vessel. Now the heavy demolition excavators roll into position, their massive metal tracks grinding against the rough concrete surface of the scrapping yard. These mechanical beasts are equipped with specialized hydraulic metal shears capable of crushing solid steel beams as easily as snapping dry twigs. The first excavator extends its massive hydraulic arm toward the front of the submarine, targeting the highly classified and complex bow section. This specific area once housed the highly sensitive sonar array, the critical underwater eyes and ears of this massive deep-sea predator. The giant steel jaws of the shear clamp down hard on the reinforced nose cone, applying thousands of tons of crushing pressure. A loud, agonizing screech of tearing metal fills the air as the thick titanium casing begins to buckle under the immense force. Shards of shattered fiberglass and twisted steel rain down as the hydraulic jaws mercilessly rip away the protective outer dome of sonar. Inside the exposed bow, we can finally see the intricate spherical framework that once held the advanced acoustic sensors and communication gear. The excavator bites deeper into the structural ribs, snapping thick metal beams with terrifying ease and tossing them into the scrap pile. Another mass machine joins the fray, using a heavy hydraulic hammer to smash through the reinforced bulkheads separating the forward torpedo room. Dust and debris cloud the air as the two mechanical giants work in perfect harmony to dismantle the front of the submarine. The once sleek and aerodynamic nose of the vessel now resembles a jagged metallic carcass, completely stripped of its former military glory. We shift our focus back to the midsection, where the plasma cutting teams are tackling the incredibly thick inner pressure hull cylinder. This inner shell is forged from specialized high-yield steel, making it exceptionally resistant to traditional cutting methods and requiring maximum heat. The oxy-fuel torches are cranked up to their absolute maximum capacity, shooting out blindingly bright blue flames that vaporize the metal. A continuous stream of brilliant sparks cascades down the sides of the submarine, illuminating the dark interior of the dry dock facility. As the horizontal cut connects with the vertical line, a massive rectangular panel of the pressure hull is finally completely cut loose. A towering industrial crane slowly lowers its heavy magnetic lifting pad, firmly attaching itself to the newly freed section of thick steel. With a loud groan, the crane hoists the multi-ton steel plate into the air, exposing the dark, cramped interior crew compartments. Looking inside, we see a maze of narrow corridors, hanging wires, and dismantled control panels that once operated this complex underwater city. It is truly fascinating to witness the incredibly dense packaging of machinery and living spaces required to sustain life beneath the ocean. The demolition crew moves inside the exposed hull, using handheld plasma torches to cut away the smaller internal bulkheads and support pillars. Brilliant flashes of light illuminate the dark corners of the submarine as the workers systematically dissect the vessel from the inside out. Every piece of valuable metal, from copper wiring to titanium piping, is carefully separated and sorted into designated piles for future recycling. The sheer volume of scrap generated by this single submarine is staggering, representing thousands of tons of high-grade industrial raw materials. Outside, the excavators continue their relentless assault on the remaining bow section, tearing away the last remnants of the forward ballast tanks. Heavy hydraulic shears bite into a thick cluster of high-pressure air flasks, crushing them flat like empty aluminum soda cans. A sudden burst of trapped compressed air escapes with a loud hiss, blowing a massive cloud of rust and dust into space. The operator skillfully maneuvers the massive claw to grab a stubborn piece of reinforced framing, twisting it back and forth until snapping. Slowly but surely, the imposing silhouette of the submarine is being reduced to a chaotic mountain of jagged, unrecognizable, twisted metal scrap. The destruction process is both violent and strangely mesmerizing, a perfect demonstration of unstoppable industrial power conquering seemingly indestructible military-grade engineering. We now move toward the stern of the vessel, where the massive propulsion system and complex steering planes are waiting for dismantling. The giant bronze propeller has already been carefully removed, but the thick steel drive shaft remains firmly lodged inside the rear casing. A specialized thermal lance is brought in to tackle the incredibly dense metal of the main shaft bearing and rear pressure seal. The thermal lance burns at an astonishing temperature, easily slicing through the solid steel shaft and sending a shower of molten sparks. The heavy rear stabilizers designed to guide this massive ship through deep ocean currents are systematically chopped off by the hydraulic shears. Each massive fin crashes to the ground, shaking the earth and adding to the rapidly growing piles of sorted steel and titanium. As the sun begins to set over the scrapyard, the glowing orange sparks from the plasma cutters create a beautiful contrast. The nighttime demolition operations continue without pause, illuminated by powerful stadium lights that cast long, dramatic shadows across the ruined submarine hull. The glowing red edges of the freshly cut steel look like veins of lava running through the metallic carcass of the beast. Night shift workers carefully coordinate their movements, ensuring that the heavy lifting cranes and excavators operate safely in the dark industrial environment. A massive section of the upper deck, including the iconic sail structure, is finally severed and prepared for the heavy crane lift. The crane strains under the immense weight as it slowly pulls the towering sail away from the main body of the submarine. This iconic piece of the vessel, once slicing proudly through the ocean waves, is unceremoniously dropped onto the waiting scrap processing platform. Smaller processing machines immediately attack the fallen sail, using rapid-fire hydraulic hammers to break the structure into smaller, furnace-ready pieces. The relentless pace of the demolition yard is truly incredible to watch, transforming complex military hardware into basic commodities in mere hours. By sunrise the next morning, only the lower half of the main pressure hull remains resting on the massive dry dock supports. The once mighty submarine now looks like a giant metal canoe, completely stripped of its roof, internal decks, and advanced technical equipment. The final stages of the dismantling process require extreme care, as the massive weight of the remaining hull could cause sudden collapses. Teams of cutters work simultaneously along the bottom keep, creating strategic weakening points to allow for a controlled collapse of the structure. The heavy excavators line up along one side, using their massive hydraulic arms to push against the weakened steel walls with force. With a deafening roar, the heavy steel walls finally fold inward, collapsing the remaining structure into a flat, manageable pile of scrap. The ground trembles violently as thousands of tons of steel hit the concrete deck, sending a massive shockwave throughout the entire facility. The cleanup phase begins with giant magnetic cranes sweeping the area to collect every last piece of valuable metal debris. The large chunks of hull are loaded onto massive flatbed trucks, ready to be transported to the steel mill for final melting. Inside the roaring furnaces of the recycling plant, this old military submarine will be completely melted down and reborn as new products. It is a poetic end for such a destructive weapon, being transformed into the building blocks for future skyscrapers, bridges, and cars. The incredible engineering that went into building this vessel has been completely undone by the equally impressive power of modern demolition technology. We have witnessed the ultimate triumph of raw industrial force over one of the most resilient and heavily armored structures ever built. The empty dry dock now stands completely bare, quietly waiting for the next massive vessel to arrive for its final dismantling journey. The sheer efficiency of this demolition crew is a testament to human ingenuity and our ability to deconstruct our most complex creations. Millions of man-hours went into designing and constructing this submarine, yet it took only a few days to erase it completely. Every spark, every crushed pipe, and every severed cable tells a unique story of the incredible life cycle of modern military hardware. The Oxy fuel torches are finally powered down, their glowing tips slowly cooling off after days of relentless, extreme temperature metal cutting. The heavy excavators park in a neat line, their massive steel jaws resting quietly on the ground after a long, successful operation. The massive piles of sorted scrap metal stand as a glorious monument to the hard work and dedication of the demolition team. This process not only clears space, but also provides essential recycled materials that power our modern global economy and endless industrial growth. We hope you enjoyed this incredibly detailed look into the violent, sparking, and fascinating world of heavy military submarine scrapping and recycling. There's always something deeply satisfying about watching massive, indestructible objects being torn apart by powerful machines and extreme thermal cutting tools. Stay tuned for our next episode where we will tackle an even bigger industrial giant and reduce it to absolute metal dust. Thank you for watching this incredible teardown journey. Please remember to subscribe to Demolition Worker for more extreme industrial destruction and scrapping.